Yo!
You still messing around with your buttons, son?
Hold on, I'm there.
Hey, your buttons are old school. Hey, your buttons, Ernie. Your buttons are old school like your shirt, son. What year was that one?
I thought I'd just bring out old thing tonight. It's Sharps.
Yeah, but what year was that?
Sharp one.
I know it's a Fergie baby, but which?
Yeah, probably early 90s, early 90s, late 80s.
Oi, I can see one of our future guests in that shirt there. I know you got some champagne popping news for us. You might as well break it out.
Which one do you want? You want the one that we're gonna come back?
Champagne popping one the one who used to wear that shirt.
Andy Cole.
Well, but if that's the way you open your champagne, shh. So Andy Cole's going to be joining us on the fixture list coming up
on the 9th. Andy Cole on the 9th of April, and next week is international football, so we won't be in next week. But the following week we've got our racism special where we're going to be joined by the legendary John Barnes.
Peace. So what are we saying? I gotta find one of my old school, the one with the white collar. Is it Candy? I gotta get the Candy shirt.
What you gotta get, Robbo? You gotta get his shorts. That's what you got.
You like John Shorts, huh? The other day you were looking for jars. You look jars. You look Manchester United jars. No, you want John Short.
The modern day man at the moment is Bellerin, who turns up with his shirt tucked in his shorts. But back in the day, John Barnes had his shirt tucked in his shorts and the shorts with the original Butty Rider.
Actually, I saw a player. I can't remember which match I was watching, but there was actually a player on the pitch. And it weren't Bellerin. It was what was the game I was watching? One of the games the other week, and the dude had his shirt tucked in his shorts, and I'm pretty sure the football shirts that they make now, they don't make them with that kind of long length anymore. They kind of actually make them so you wear them out. And even on the inside, you would know this, Ernie, because you wear fake shirts. Even on the real shirts, they have a little rubber.
What, like the one you got on? Like the one you got on?
I told you this one comes from Turkey.
Yeah, that's
so
a fake shirt.
They have this little rubber ring around the inner part or the bottom of the shirt, so that when the footballers wear it, it stays to their shorts. So I don't know what the Bellerin. I don't know. I can't understand Bellerin. I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? But listen, people, welcome. It's the fixture list again, and as Ernie has alluded to, because he's wearing the old champagne Man United shirt. We're going to be having Andy Cole, the legendary Andy Cole, and Andy would be our first footballer. And we've been betting for the last few weeks, when are we going to get some proper insight? And Andy Cole said, waiting for Ian Wright. Come deal with me. I broke the records. I'm breaking records in the Prem.
You know that.
And John Barnes heard, he heard black people? Wait, black man? Because he hasn't got Piers Morgan to talk to.
You know that.
John's going to come and talk to us. So that's Good Friday. That's a real good look. But apart from that, obviously what we're looking forward to is that top 4 race, which is going to be very interesting, because it is a period of football where nobody knows. I mean, one thing we're certain of, Man City are going to win the league, it looks like. But nobody knows.
Nobody can slip. Nobody can slip.
No, listen, if you slip, you slide down the gully. Right. And we also have the fixtures which were announced today, Europa and the Champions League. That's really interesting. And again, I've had it all today. Liverpool, Real Madrid, you lot are done. And I'm like, yeah. I told you a few weeks ago, Ernie, and you said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, did you see that little team called Granada? And you went, Granada? Isn't that the channel that makes Coronation Street? I said, no. Granada, the club.
Yep. And I posted today on Facebook, I'll take that draw, but we must not be complacent. We mustn't
Can
think.
I ask you? Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you know much about Granada?
I don't know nothing about Granada. That is the frightening thing. I don't really know nothing about Granada, but for them to reach where they have, obviously they must have something about them. You know what I mean?
I think Granada is a sneaky, like, you know, remember when Monaco creeped really close to getting to the final, and also when Ajax is obviously a team with pedigree, but coming from nowhere. I think Granada is a tricky game. And remember, these games, none of these are played in the theater of doom. I mean, sorry, beg your pardon, the theater of dreams.
Yeah.
Played in neutral surroundings. So these Granada guys gonna turn up like that with their onions and their hola, Man United. We got to play Man United, and they come to bust your shirt, bro.
Well, all right,
tricky little team.
You know what I mean? They're going to the field. Madrid will be going to the field. All right, and we'll see what happens when they get to the field. You know, because the field has not been a fortress lately.
No, they're not. I mean, they're not. Remember, it's neutral grounds. No, it's neutral grounds. It's all neutral. Just remember, you broke Mo Salah's arm. You broke his shoulder.
Yeah.
Ramos has just come back from his long-term injury. And obviously, he'll have a month to sort himself out. But just you remember, you broke my shoulder. Okay. Salah and Ramos. Watch that one. Okay. That's where your Champions League is gonna be won and lost, Ernie.
Okay. Well, I'm not in the Champions League. I don't really business about the Champions League this season here because we're not.
You're not involved in the big boy.
We got
you're involved in the EastEnder Trophy.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. But if we win the EastEnder Trophy and you don't win the Champions League, I reckon that we've had a better season than you, bro.
Well,
and that will do for me.
As I say, we have to wait until May. You are having an exceptional season, Manchester United, with Ole at the wheel.
With Ole at the wheel. I want you to know that Ole at the wheel.
I didn't say Wale at the wheel. Ole at the wheel.
We're talking about Jurgen Klopp here. We're talking about Ole at the wheel. You know what I mean?
Are you really confident with this Ole character?
Robert, I told you the man them's got to give. Ramos gonna brock up Salah again. Says Aaron. Aaron or Aaron White.
It's Aaron. Yeah, Aaron hit me up on I think he hit me up on Instagram and revealed himself. Aaron. Just stay a fan of the show. Just stay a fan of the show. But you ain't gonna see that happen again. It won't happen.
No, I'm confident. You know, we seem to be, when we play away from home, we seem to be in a rich vein of form. So I'm confident that we can make it. It's just a matter of who else is going to make it in there. But one team I know ain't going to make it is a team from the Sainsbury's car park. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
It ain't easy. What? Well, we have to talk about it. When the guest chimes in, we will talk about.
We will talk about them. You know what I mean?
I believe you've got a super fan, right?
We've got a super fan, Watty Junior OBE, which is a Spurs fan. Hey, don't even talking because my next door neighbor give me a wine here, Rob. I tell you, I never tasted this wine before, bro.
Can I ask you who gave you the wine?
My next door neighbor. He comes from
what's her name?
No, it's Albania. He comes from.
Oh, it's man, I give you wine now, and you watch John shots.
You know that. Hey, don't even try it, you know. Don't even try it. Don't even try it.
Man, give you wine.
It was a Christmas present. We exchanged gifts.
That looks like Lucozade, actually.
No. I gave him our traditional potion, which you know what that is.
Oh, and he gave white rum.
I gave him the J Rare nephew. He said, "What is this?" I ain't seen him since. So anyway,
the man told you this little bottle of fizz what he bought from the back of the Lidl's section.
Yeah, no.
Told you it was good wine from where? Albania. Albania don't make wine.
No, well, I don't know where he got it from, bro. But I'm gonna say Tears good. I'm gonna knock him up tomorrow and tell him to buy me 2 bottles, bro. Because Tears good. You know what I mean?
Come with the Aldi's Albanian selection. Yeah. Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sorry, who did you say? Who did you say is our? Who did you say was our super fan today? Which
So
team does he support?
we got Watty Junior OBE.
Selector Watty Junior.
Selector Watty Junior OBE. So he supports Spurs. And then we got Trevor White, who is a West Ham supporter from the year dot. So I thought it'd be good to get a man on from West Ham because they're doing very well at the moment. They're London's top team.
Oh, Chelsea's London top team, isn't it?
No. West Ham is.
No, it's Chelsea.
Where?
Chelsea are fourth, right?
And where's West Ham?
I think
all right. Well, they were London's top team for a considerable time, but I think they've got some games in hand over Chelsea. But I think they're playing Chelsea this weekend. If my memory serves me right, check it out. I think they're actually playing Chelsea this weekend. So if they are, that's a huge game. Or they're playing Arsenal this weekend.
If your memory serves you right, what kind of research is that? Currently, it's 1. Is it 1-1?
To who?
Mercy. Is that game? Leeds and Fulham.
Oh, okay.
1-1.
Well, yeah, what I did say that I think
Fulham are doing well. If Fulham win this game,
Fulham's going to get out of it. And now Newcastle lose to Brighton at the weekend. Newcastle doomed. They'll be doomed.
That's a big draw if they get if Fulham get a point. They put themselves in a really good position.
Because, right in a good position, mate. So, and I tell you what, I like the way that Scotty Parker is talking. There was even talk today on social media that he should get the Spurs job. Too early, isn't it?
Scott Parker.
Yeah, it's too early.
He needs to sort out Fulham about get job. The only person that could walk in that job, out of the current managers and the next Tottenham player should be Chris Hughton. Chris Hughton.
Yeah, but they're not going to have Chris Hughton. You know that.
I know. That's not the reality. But listen. I'd love to. I'm saying this and I'll put it out there. I would love to see Brighton go down. I want them to go down. I mean,
I want them to go down.
Burnley's my dream team. My drop dream team. Burnley, like Sean Dyche going down is it's an absolute dream, but that's not going to happen. But I want to see Brighton go down.
Oh, yes. And I think Rodney, when he comes on, if you ask him, he'll tell you how much I want Brighton to go down. And if West Bromwich, West Bromwich gone. So I'm happy about that. But hit them and Brighton to go down, I'll be so happy. What?
Well, what about Newcastle? I don't want, as much as Steve Bruce is an ex-Man United player, I don't really want to see Newcastle go down, but they deserve a dip. They deserve their head dipped under the water. But I would really like to see. I would just really like to see Brighton go down.
Well, if we can, I would like to see Brighton go down. Irrelevant of Steve Bruce and Newcastle and all that, I would like to see Brighton go down. But I think you see that result that they had against Southampton. It was very significant at the weekend, that victory, because I didn't expect them to get nothing from Southampton, and somehow they pulled it out of the hat. So I don't know. But it would make my season. It would make my season if West Brom and Brighton went down. But I'd say thank you very much. You know what I mean?
No, do you know what? The West Brom, I'm not that. If you gave me a choice between Newcastle and West Brom, I'd prefer Newcastle to go down.
No, man. The way they treated my man, Darren, at West Brom.
Moore. Well, look at the way Newcastle treated Rafa. Hey, anyway.
No, I don't business about Rafa. Who names her? Who's Ruffle Benitez? The way they treated him. Rightly so, they just came from over Liverpool side.
No, I just with Newcastle, I don't know. I think I've got a soft spot for Newcastle, and because Andy Cole was such a bad man at Newcastle back then, he kind of turned it up.
But he never really turned it up to reach a theatre of dreams and team up with Dwight York. That is where he turned it up, bro. You got
to remember his record goal scoring feat, Andy Cole, and he will be able to come and tell you that was at Newcastle.
Yeah, but at Manchester United, him turn it up. Who can forget the night against Juventus when the odds were stacked against us? And
you sound like them Sly Sports hosts. Stop talking about that's one game. Andy Cole bun off. Andy and Dwight bun off a whole season. It weren't one game, and that's another thing. That's another thing I hate to. I hate to. They only talk about when they won the Champions League, and it's always about Solskjaer's goal. What about the route to the Champions League?
The route
Andy
to the
Cole and Dwight York, they bun off everything in Europe.
Murdered
Unbelievable.
Terrified people in Europe. Terrified people.
Killed everything in the league. Killed everything in the FA Cup, and then come back and tore up Europe.
You know what I mean? But remember, if you're watching the show, flash up across the screen. Put your things up on the bottom of the screen there. Let me know what you're thinking. And also, with the view of John Barnes, Troy Townsend, and Sean Wallace, the Dark Destroyer, scheduled to be with us on the 2nd of April. We'd like you to email us.
That Chelsea nag is coming back, Sean Wallace.
Yeah. But this time he's coming on a different level.
I hope he does come a different level. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
Get some questions in there. Patrick Tapping, Lewis mind people. Yeah, don't worry. Patrick Tapping's keeping a low profile this season because his team has gone out of Europe and he's very sad. But we're going to come to him later on when Watty Jr. OBE, who is a Tottenham super fan, when he comes in, then we'll deal with their case. We've also got Crystal Davis coming in tonight, who is a top female journalist, to give us some angles on the rise.
Ernie, Phil to no Phil. She's just a top journalist.
What?
She's just a top journalist.
All right, a top journalist, but she's going to give us the insight onto the rise.
Gender bias here, son. None of that gender bias stuff here. It's the wrong week for it. Yeah. She's just a journalist.
Yeah, all right. She's a journalist, right? And she's going to give us the info on the rise of the female football sports. So I tell you what, Rob, I was walking past a school the other day and I saw some little young females playing in the school playground after school football training. I had to stop Rude when they were busting some skills. Some little, couldn't have been more than about 10 mere dummies and some flick ups and all that business there. It reminded me of when I was a youth playing football, but we won't go into that, right? They were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think the skill sets of the women's that's playing football are very close to the men, but they have obviously got that. I think they'll always be looked at on the physical attributes, like moving the ball quicker and what have you. But as our guest who alluded to a few weeks ago, it is interesting watching women's football. But I would also concur. Heard my hands up. They need goalkeepers badly.
Yeah. The goalkeepers is the weak point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I've seen some 25-yard shots that shouldn't really go anywhere near the goal, really and truly, blazing in the back of the net. You know what I mean? Also,
if we had a female goalkeeper in the Champions League against Real Madrid, we probably would have won that anyway. Because
that goalkeeper you had, a bit sad, wasn't he?
Jeez.
What was his name again, Robbo?
Loris Karius.
Loris
Karius.
He was your version of Cedric.
He was. Listen, at least Cedric can hold a paintbrush. At least Cedric can wipe down a table. Cedric multitask for Arsenal. He can do things. He's the kit man. We don't even know who Cedric is still. But Loris Karius, he was a pretend goalkeeper. Absolutely.
Sandra Roden. Nice to see Sandra Roden in the building. Staunch Crystal Palace fan. Her and her husband, Stephen, staunch Crystal Palace fan. They travel up and down the country. She says, Brighton to go down. Well, she would say that, innit? Brighton and Crystal Palace, there's a little bit of rivalry there, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
I don't know why that is.
Nice one.
Why is that there like a rivalry, Sandra, between Brighton and Crystal Palace? We don't get it. Brighton is all the way down in is it Sussex, and Crystal Palace is in South London.
South London.
Is that something to do with the South London way? I don't know.
Yeah, like the West Ham way.
I think we should bring in. We call him AKA Gregory Isaac, the cool ruler, The cool. Do you know what you got to do, Ernie? You got to find a Gregory for this man here. Rodney Hines, chief sports writer in the Voice newspaper. You got to find a Gregory for him. You got to find.
You want me to find a Gregory, Robbo? Hold on.
I think you need a Gregory. Yeah, I think you need to. Yeah, yes. We need a Gregory. We need to draft out Gregory Isaac. Because
we have ways.
You ain't looking for your.
Hold on.
And he's looking for.
I'm just gonna put the CV in. I don't know which Gregory's gonna come out, right? But I'm just gonna. It don't matter. All right. We're gonna find a Gregory. Because this.
When that Gregory starts to play, just let through the cool ruler.
Let him in, guys.
I'm in my top 10, but you are still not in the league.
One call.
Rodney.
AKA Gregory.
Oh, it got Gregory.
I gave her back the key to her front door.
Love that. Appreciate that. You can use that every week. Wednesday and Fridays. You can use it every week now.
All right.
I gave her back the keys to her front door. How you doing, Rodney?
I'm very well, sir. How are you?
I'm not too bad. It's been a more upbeat week for me as a Liverpool supporter.
I was saying to Ernie during the course of the week, I think if I've got it right, all our clubs won over the weekend, which is a rarity.
Yeah,
real rarity.
Yep. I think you just about shaded it though. It was a little bit sticky last night, Rod.
Yeah, but the work had been done in the first leg, and Rangers and Tottenham's demise. And I hope we talk about the Rangers scenario as well. By the way, some of those allegations flying about. Yeah, you got to do. Listen, it's a two-legged tie. Disappointing to lose, obviously, but at the end of the day, did the damage in the away leg, and we're through. Our North London counterparts are not through, and that's after a 2-goal lead. There's a few things going on at that football club right now. Hopefully, we'll discuss that later on.
That one was crazy, man. I feel it for Tottenham fans because they seem to just wilt at the wrong moment. They're like they just wilt at the wrong moment. I feel it for Tottenham fans, though. I really do.
Well, I don't feel it for them, right? Because like Rodney will tell you, right, I always say that, their claim to fame was winning the double when it was black and white TV with 2 knobs. And I'll always say...
Early 60s, that was, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
And then since then, they've won a little few bits and pieces, but that is their real claim to fame.
13 years. It was a League Cup.
How much years?
They won. 13, 1-3.
I've got to defend Tottenham. They may not have won the league, but in my years of watching football as a kid, they brought so much joy. Steve Archibald, Garth Crooks, Glenn Hoddle,
Ozzy Ardiles.
What's the other Argentinian that they had? Ricky Villa.
No, Ricky was a one-hit wonder. Gary Mabert. That was a great team, that Tottenham team.
Yeah, I think Chris Hughton might have been about floating around there as well.
Chris Hughton, I think it was a left back. I used to watch Tottenham hard back then. They were almost like my second favorite team. And
oh dear.
Almost.
Did you say that?
Almost.
Really?
Right? No, seriously, almost. Back in the day, there was I loved watching Spurs. But yeah, as everybody alludes to, they're very Spursy.
Spursy, yeah, that's the term. Just to give you a quick update with the game that's taking place. Big game at the bottom. Fulham 1, Leeds 2 at the moment.
Oh, we were just talking about it, Ernie.
With about 25 minutes to go.
Didn't I say that it was 1-1? And I was saying
1-1.
If Fulham just grab a point, still puts them in a good place to pounce.
It does. It doesn't take them out of the relegation zone, though. And don't forget the caveat to all of this is that Brighton and Newcastle play tomorrow. So Fulham really need a couple more points.
They do need the points, but could you imagine the tension in the game? There's going to be tension with Brighton and Newcastle, but can you imagine the added if
Fulham were to win? Yeah, absolutely right. But at the moment, Rafinha, a player that I expect to end up at Liverpool, by the way, sometime in the future.
Where does that rumor come from? I don't know where that rumor comes
Yeah,
from.
well, you know, us journos, sometimes rumors come from inside sources, but a very good
Agents.
player. He's had a good, yeah, maybe. He's had a very good season, but he's just put Leeds 2-1 up. So Fulham with a little bit of work to do with about 25 minutes to go.
He's a nice little fluent player. His movement is, I think that's what
A
a lot
good
of
left
people.
foot. Can
Yeah.
take
If you
a
don't-
free kick. The
Yeah,
goal he
if-
scored a minute ago was decent. Left foot,
Yeah,
then right foot finish.
if you're not like familiar with him playing at Leeds, he reminds me very much of a very, 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 very almost Sadio Mane like. He's industrious. He's very hard to pin down, and his movement and he can score goals.
Lots of skill, can take a free kick. A player that I think will move on from Leeds sooner rather than later.
All right. Patrick Tappin says, don't forget that Maradona played for Spurs once. What's he talking about? What to Patrick? Patrick, stop drink, man.
Patrick's on the Ray and his nephews again.
Yeah, he's on. I think he's on Pils Lager.
Maybe just pills.
Maybe you say he's gone on an Albanian beer. You said pills, you know.
No.
Albanian wine in the pan.
Lewis says Rafinha to replace Salah.
Oh, don't stop talking rubbish.
I tell you what, though. I mean, are we going to talk about Chelsea at some stage? Because Lewis has just reminded me. Team of the moment, aren't they? Chelsea.
They've done well.
I wouldn't say that. They're doing well, but I wouldn't say they're the team of the moment.
Well, they're not losing any games. They're climbing up the table.
Man United.
They're making real serious progress in the Champions League.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they've done well.
I know both of your clubs have challenges with Chelsea, but you just got to recognize what's going.
Listen, I'm very interested in the progress of Tuchel, because this was like the big talk many years ago. Him and Nagelsmann, as the two coaches that will challenge Klopp. So my view is, it's not so much on Chelsea. It's Tuchel as a manager. Where is this coaching now is coming from? The game where we played Chelsea, I got to give it to him. He set his team up, and playing against a Simeone's team, you got to be switched on. But do they take it to the rest of the season, and do they take that same form all the way in Europe?
It's a 10-game season in regards to the Premier League, obviously for Chelsea and everybody else. But obviously there's the new manager bounce, as it called, but they're playing well. I mean, I think when he came in, he said that that he wants his team to be feared. Well, that might not quite be the case just yet, but they're producing results. And as I said, as a squad, do you know what I mean? It's second only or on a par with Manchester City.
I think they are a tough. They under Tuchel, they're a tough team to break down, and it's well set up. But the thing what I feel Chelsea will lack is the firepower. I just think up top they're just that. I think
Werner. I mean, listen. I just think historically, when Chelsea sack a manager, put a new one in, they normally end up with a trophy. There's an FA Cup to be won. They've got a decent draw against Sheffield United this weekend, which I expect them to get through. They're in the Champions League.
I just think they're that way short of being a contender for the Premier League next year. But I think firepower is what they lack.
Well, I had them down to win the Premier League this season. Obviously, I was a season early, but you can see. I mean, there's the likes of Havertz and Werner and Zajic, who reminds me potentially of Riyad Mahrez at Man City in many, many ways. If they get that act together and 1 year down the line, they could be dangerous next season. It's about consistency, isn't it, for most teams?
But funny enough, they're the players that don't impress me. The players that has impressed me has been Mount and the re-emergence of Rudiger. There's not a lot of credit given to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper has come in and
he's been absolutely sensational.
Like you don't hear the journalists. They just think, "Oh yeah, great stop." And I'm listening. I'm thinking, this guy has come in at that level and has been solid. He is almost coming very unseemingly, a bit like how Edison, even though Edison had this big price tag at Man City, but he just came in, done his job, and after about 20 games of watching Edison at Man City, you knew this guy's a brick wall. This guy is not. You ain't going to shake him out of his place.
Well, the interesting thing is, you're absolutely right with that, especially bearing in mind the money they paid out, especially the money they paid out for Kepa, and the drama that Kepa generated.
With it, yeah.
Remember that League Cup final where he refused to come off as a substitute?
That's like Ernie when you're telling Ernie. That's why you're like telling Ernie, no filter, Ernie, filter.
Yeah.
That's Kepa. Ernie's like Kepa. Said, no, Ernie, no.
You're jealous. Rodney, you should have remembered that Maradona played one game for Spurs in May 1986.
Yeah, okay.
How?
Fine.
Was that a friendly or something?
No idea, but it probably was a friendly charity festival.
The only one in England who remembers that. Nobody else remembers that. Yeah. Richard Smith says everybody wants Haaland, the boy up
Big
at Dortmund. Is he due to come to the Premiership, Rod? What do you reckon?
Man City all the way, mate.
And it's ironic, in today's Champions League draw, Man City will play Dortmund, who Haaland obviously plays for. So it's a real shop window for him. If you add the scenario that Sergio Aguero is almost out the door at Man City, as far as I'm concerned, there is, I think, a need for someone that will put the ball in the back of the net. Even though this City team have proved that Gundogan, De Bruyne, Sterling, Jesus, they can all score goals. Do you know what I mean? So it's gonna be fascinating. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay.
I tell you what, Haaland, if he has his way, and we don't know how these draws are going, but can you imagine him coming in against Man City and doing a demolition job on Stones and Diaz? Listen, I'm not saying that's how it's gonna go, but I can see that guy. He's like Mbappe over at PSG. They're on a mission. I can see him coming and saying, "Ooh, John Stones," and he'll probably say, and that's what Robbo Ranx said. Diaz, he ain't all that.
Well, Dortmund will play that game with no fear. Haaland will play with no fear, and you're absolutely right. It's a shot window for him, isn't it? You know what I mean?
And
he
Rodney,
wants to come to the Premier League.
You got one more added bingo Brucey bonus.
Go for it.
Sancho coming home.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Bellingham, who Dortmund are refusing to let link up with the England team, because with that in mind and the current quarantine situation, he would quarantine and miss the quarterfinals.
You don't want to do that. They're not having it, and I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand that totally. You know, so it's gonna be fascinating. It's gonna be fascinating.
Speaking of fascinating, we are going to also today, Rodney. I know you are the cool ruler. You are the Gregory Isaacs of this show. You are cool ruler. We're not trying to. We ain't ever trying to sidestep you, but we have also today a very, 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 very big journalist, a sports journalist. Now he broadcasts to over 100 million people, and he normally joins our mate Spoony, Jonathan Joseph, on the Premier League channel across Africa. Over 100 million people view his show. He's also in the house. I'm not sure if he's in the waiting room, because we can't keep these guys waiting.
No, and, well, we got Trevor. We've got Trevor Walsh, who is a West Ham supporter. He was first in there. Maybe he can tell us.
We could do the super fans in a minute. We could do the super fans. Ernie only wants to smash the super fans. You don't respect the journalistic skills of the cool ruler. So if Eric is here,
we give Trevor because Trevor's on a mission, so we got to get him in and get him off. Yeah.
He can't manage the run. Come in, Trevor.
I mean, Trevor Walsh from Exham, the bowling now from the London Stadium, and apparently, just before we got to Trevor, apparently our dealers, Maradona played in our dealers testimonial match. I don't think that really for playing for Spurs.
That fact is as crap as his messages. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Mr. Tappins. Trevor, I don't like the way Ernie's kind of just said, it's just Trevor. Like Trevor down. We know a lot of Trevors. But you are very special, Trevor, because you are a West Ham fan and you were once the best team in London. And you probably can tell us, Trevor, the West Ham way. Good evening, Trev.
Good evening, Rodney. Good evening, Ernie.
Good evening, Trevor.
What's the West Ham way?
The West Ham way, right? There was a documentary by Moyes last week where he's pretty much gone back on his second spell and revamped the whole squad, as in identifying needs for certain players. Training players individually was a big part. He brought in a big backroom staff with Pierce, Nolan, and so forth, working on set pieces. I think we are still London's top club or Premiership top club for set pieces at the moment. So the work rate has improved. He identified the fitness levels not being good, so he's worked very hard on the fitness levels. And at the moment, they're just gelling good. They're playing well. My only problem with them at the moment is they seem to fear the bigger teams when they go away to the bigger teams. They had a freeze. They froze last weekend, but it's still a good game. Looking forward to this weekend, Rodney.
Yes,
Sunday
indeed,
game.
Yeah.
Very, very big game too. Arsenal are now starting to play good football. Their form is improving. West Ham is improving. We have a game in hand, which I believe is this Sunday with Arsenal.
Yeah.
But as you guys said earlier, it's whoever slips up now.
Yeah.
Well, it's all over pretty much. So it's very tight. Our difference from Chelsea, I think, is 9 goals difference. What we got already. But they would need to slip up. We need to game. We need to be Arsenal 9-0 on Sunday to make any goal difference. But we know it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I mean, Trev, I've got to say that West Ham have had a fantastic season. Win, lose, or draw in terms of Champions League or Europa League. And all the points that you outlined are true in terms of David Moyes deserves an awful lot of credit, doesn't he, for coming back to the club, sorting things out. How important do you think it's been to keep Declan Rice? Because every time I watch him, he looks like arguably one of the best holding midfield players in the country.
But if you see how his game's improved with Souček as well, the pair of them in midfield, absolutely awesome. They're all over the place. But I do think Declan Rice went missing on the second half of the Man United game. It wasn't there. He was there obviously on the pitch. He wasn't given his. But Souček, great signing. Declan Rice, great signing. Lampard tried to steal Rice. We knew that. That didn't happen, obviously. He's obviously him and Jesse now in the England squad as well, which would both good. Forgot to add Jesse Lingard's a good asset for us as well. Done really well so far since he's joined us. Looking forward to playing him on Sunday as well.
The comments, Trev.
We will beat the shit out of West Ham on Sunday, just like that.
That's Mr. Brown from Harrow. Evening, Elvis.
Yeah, Mr. Brown. Come on. But I mean, West Ham, I tell you what, they've been special this year. And I'm going to just talk about the defense as well. I mean, I know Mikel Antonio, Lingard's been a great signing, but Ogbonna was playing 10 out of 10 most weeks. He's been out of the equation. In steps Diop, and it's just a seamless transition. Fantastic.
Well, Diop doesn't seem to have left the game, although he was missing for quite some time. And don't forget the added bonus for Dawson. Look how well Dawson's adapted.
Oh, he's done very well.
He's done very well, and he's got no fear when he goes for those challenges and goes for those set pieces. He's got no fear, and it's amazing. So the defense is strengthened. It's very good. Creswell's having a great season. Wasn't too good last year. They're all having a really good season. They're really gelled and they've come to life, and it's really good to see.
Trev,
what do you expect to happen on Sunday, Trev, in your heart?
Well, Rodney, I married into a family of Arsenal fans, and for years, I've been getting so much grief. I'm hoping that revenge is sweet on Sunday. Hoping.
I've got a West Ham mate that I know is tuned into the show. I know he's got his fingers crossed as well for Sunday as well. And one last question from me, right?
Yeah.
West Ham, Tottenham, right? You'd think that the aggravation between Arsenal and Tottenham was bad enough. But when it comes to Tottenham and West Ham, right? Because I've been to some of those games. I've been in the crowd.
Interesting.
It is such a negative atmosphere between those two sets of fans. Where does that rivalry come from, Trevor, as far as you're concerned?
That's a good question. I think there's been a long-term rivalry. I mean, there's always been Arsenal Spurs over the years. West Ham Spurs, I think it's just another team that I think there's been some incidents over the years with the players and so forth. Decisions gone the wrong way, so forth. So I think the West Ham fans don't like it, and if something happens they don't like, they make it felt on the terraces, and people know about that. But yeah, Tottenham isn't the best team for us, and I don't think it's the best team for a lot of people. Sorry, super fan.
Trev, our super fan, you must be itching to get back on to seeing West Ham at that lovely stadium, seeing your mates, you know, at the terraces, punching a few of them out. You know, you do the usual thing you do as a West Ham fan. But when the pressure is back on, because you mentioned rightly so how well David Moyes is doing with the team, do you think that internal pressure with the fans, do you think that will play? Because as you can see with Liverpool with no fans, it's done wonders for everybody else. But do you think with West Ham, do you think the pressure comes right back on the 12 the players on the pitch, the 11 players on the pitch?
When the fans come back, definitely. But it's quite funny because that same documentary, Moyes would also stated that West Ham won more games when Moyes had COVID, and West Ham won a lot more games when there was no fans. So, do we want the fans back? I don't know. Of course we do. It's a brilliant stadium. It's a great atmosphere. Whoever's been to the new stadium, I've been a few times. The atmosphere is it's a beautiful place. On a good day, it's great. But the old days at Upton Park under the floodlights on a Wednesday night, couldn't beat it.
You can't.
Hey, so Trev, you know you got problem coming because you know your top striker Antonio is going to be dipping in and out of the country because he's going to be playing for Jamaica, man.
I heard. Wonder why that is.
There's going to be games where he's going to come back from Jamaica and they'll say, I had a leg pull, but this time I had a real nephew and a good weed. you know you got a problem coming. I'm just warning you from now as a West Ham fan.
I've seen it, but it makes you wonder why he's Princeton's allegiance to Jamaica and not England.
He ain't going to get a game for England. What's wrong with you, Trevor?
Exactly.
Wasn't it Sam Allardyce that gave him his first cap? I think it was Sam Allardyce.
Yeah, I think he got called into the squad, but he didn't actually
play.
He didn't get picked. He got called up for a squad, but he didn't actually get picked, which has allowed him now to do what he's doing for Jamaica.
Well, good luck this weekend.
What's the score, Trev? Give us your prediction for Saturday or Sunday.
Sunday, 3 o'clock.
It'd be a brave 2-0 to the Hammers. Sorry, Rodney.
No worries, my friend. No worries at all.
Trevor, I'm with you too. I think West Ham win that game.
Yeah. And Mr. Brown. Sorry, Ernie?
You say 2-0 to West Ham.
2-0 West Ham. I'm going for it.
Okay.
Jesse's back. So who knows?
And you know, I know Jesse likes Arsenal, doesn't he? He really likes dancing.
He likes doing that dance. How's that dance, Robbo?
No, he's got a new style. He's doing the jig now, isn't it? He's doing the jig.
Oh, he's doing that one now, isn't it?
He's doing the fiddle.
Yeah.
The Hammers one. No, the Hammers one.
Yeah, that one.
Wow. Listen, Trev, thanks for turning up. Please come back again, though.
We'll do. No problem.
We only know 2 West Ham fans in the whole wide world, and you made one of them. All right, nice one.
Take care,
guys.
Cheers.
All right. Up to the missus, Trev.
Trevor, super fan.
Yes. Arsenal go and mush up West Ham on Sunday. Anthony.
Arsenal man like shut off them fierce about mash up. Mash up what?
Mash up what?
West Ham's turning you over. Simple.
Actually, I had a picture. I mean, I sent a picture to Anthony, but I don't think we can use it. Of a Aubameyang stuck in the traffic in Muswell last week. That's why he got dropped.
That was sheer comedy. That was comedy. And they won the game without him. So you know he must be. He must be.
Yeah, man.
So listen, we've had our super fan. I want Eric to sit with the cool ruler. So we've almost got our star. He's in the house. As I said, he's the broadcast journalist. He's also featured on the station I actually play for in East Africa. But he is in front of 100 million people. When he sits in front of Spoonie and he drops the facts on Spoonie, he's like, Spoonie, you got that wrong. Let's welcome Eric Najiru in the house from the Premiership channel in Africa. And look at the shirt. That's why I had to give him the big up.
Eric. First thing, when you come onto the fixture list, although you're a Liverpool supporter, you're not supposed to wear that top. You're supposed to wear a neutral top, bro.
I told him, Eric, what did I say to you? Eric had on his suit, he had on his best TV suit. I said, change that, son. Change that, brother.
next week, I'll try to wear another shirt like our away shirt.
Okay. There you go. There you go. So listen, Rodney, meet Eric, and Rodney, I want you to keep connected with this brother here, because I know like you like to, dabble in the games. You need to dabble and see what this guy's doing in Africa. And also, Eric, I want you to connect with Rodney. So after the show, make sure we exchange and keep this thing billing. Eric, how are you, my brother?
Yo, I've been fine, man. I've been cool. At least we're back now to winning matches. We're feeling good. At least looking forward to the Champions League game. It's a feeling right now.
Real Madrid, Liverpool. How do you guys see that one, Eric? Champions League.
Ooh, big game. I think we still have some unfinished business to do with Madrid. Remember what happened in 2018 when Ramos took out Salah. Listen, bro, it's a revenge time. We're going for that guy. We're going for Madrid. But obviously, remember we've lost the Premier League this season. So the Champions League is the only hope we have. I mean, look, if we win Madrid, we're going to play Chelsea or Porto. We have a chance to make the final.
I think you'd be playing. I think you'd be playing Chelsea. I think you'd be playing Chelsea personally.
Porto's tough,
Yeah.
Porto's not a pushover. That coach.
No, I'm not saying there'll be pushovers. I just think over 2 games, Chelsea will edge that.
Chelsea have the edge. Yeah, I think so.
A Chelsea-Liverpool potential Champions League semi-final. Wow.
Yeah, that could be a tasty one. So Eric, you're on the sports show, a weekly guest. There's so many million people viewing the Premiership from the eyeballs from just Africa alone. I mean, you must have watched this grow exponentially now in Africa. I mean, how do you guys actually keep up with the matches? Because I've seen some of the fan zone events that you guys do, like for the big matches. I mean, how is that shared out amongst the millions in Africa who probably, some people still out there can't even afford to watch it because it's still pretty expensive to have the football channels. How is that done in East Africa?
Yo, look here. I do think the Premier League is one of the biggest things right now on TV right here in Africa and in Kenya. I mean, people do love the Premier League. They do love the European football. I mean, we can't go a day or let's like an hour without talking about the Premier League. Every radio station, every TV station, they have a special show for the Premier League. Like you said today, when we were watching the draw for the Champions League, I mean, everyone was watching. There was so much reaction. Like, let's say from last night, everyone was like, we're waiting for tomorrow. The Chelsea fans saying, we want to play Porto. The Man City fans saying, it's our year. Liverpool fans saying, obviously, we want to see what we're going to get. But I do think the fact that we can be able to watch the Champions League and the Premier League more than our African football says a lot. Because, like we heard this week from the CAF president, is that the Champions League in Africa is not available like the Premier League and the Champions League from Europe. So that tells you that the fans do love Premier League so much.
Eric, who's the most supported team in Africa from the Premier League?
Be truthful, Eric.
I do think. Well, Robbo, the biggest is Liverpool, obviously, but the most supported team in Africa
Man U, innit?
Has to be Arsenal, and then Man United, and then Chelsea, and then Liverpool.
Arsenal is the biggest in Africa.
Arsenal.
Listen,
I don't know why you guys sound so surprised.
I'm surprised. Got my eyes. Arsenal.
Yeah.
How? Why?
Why?
Being supported doesn't mean you're doing well. Remember, Arsenal did so well in the early 2003, 2004. I mean, the guys are still around. They're still watching their team. They're suffering, yes, but they're still watching their team. Same with Man United. And now we've got the new wave of fans from West Africa who support Chelsea because of Drogba, SCN, Mikel, and the rest. And then we've got us guys, the OGs, the real guys, the original guys who support Liverpool. We've never run away from the team.
Is it you mentioned like the early 2000s with Arsenal, obviously the players that Arsenal possessed at the time. I mean, we when we were watching what Arsene Wenger was doing, revolutionizing football. I mean, I'm sure the football wasn't being pumped into Africa as ready as it is now. So is that purely based on the amount of players from the continent that was playing for Arsenal back then?
Yeah, of course. And obviously they were playing well. Remember, they won the league unbeaten. So that time is when that's when now football is coming to Africa. The availability of the streaming of matches live when Arsenal are winning the league. But now after they won the league, now came now Chelsea. Chelsea started winning the league, and the new wave of fans now from West Africa because of the likes of Drogba, AC, and the guys who are playing in Africa. And obviously now Man United, who have been around for long, and Liverpool. So I think Liverpool and United is basically because of the competition, being good teams and playing well. But for the Arsenal and Chelsea, is because of having players from Africa who are playing for that team, for those teams.
Oh, wow.
So who in Africa now, Eric, is the bright star? Who should we be looking for in Africa maybe to make his way over to the shores of England? Is there anyone particular that comes to mind?
Yeah, of course. We've got some really good guys like here in Kenya. There's a guy called Olunga. Michael Olunga, he plays in Qatar. He doesn't play in Africa, but he's Africa. The issue with Africa is that we know how to export players like South America. Most of our players are playing in Europe or in Asia, trying to make their way out because it's really hard for you to be able to move out of Africa and go play in Europe. Because look, you need to be in Europe by the time you're 23 or 21 for you to make the teams. But in Africa, we're done by school when we're 19 years old. So by the time you move out of high school, go to college, you are around 22. You're late for football. So you need to be on the move by the time in high school. So it's hard.
You're the greatest export so far, I think. And Spurs fans, you gotta love him. Victor Wanyama. He came from Kenya. I remember turning up and like people like saying, Robert, do you know, have you seen this dude? And like, no, I've never seen him. I mean, what happened to him? He came in as a real prospect when he landed at Spurs. I think he was playing in Scottish football, and then he landed at Spurs. He was this big powerhouse of a Kenyan footballer, and then he just disappeared, man. And there went our little one support for Kenyan footballers. What happened to Victor Wanyama?
I do think the issue with Victor was the injuries. I mean, he had that carry knee injury, but he's a really good player. He's from a family that has sports people. Do you guys remember a guy called McDonald Mariga? Mariga won the Champions League with Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Brother. But now, after that carry knee injury, now he couldn't continue in the Premier League, and obviously falling out with Mauricio Pochettino and Jose coming in, he had to go to Canada, the team that was being coached by Thierry Henry, and now Thierry's out. So we are not sure about the issue, but I think we went back there last month. I think their season is back again. But he's a good player. He's still our captain, by this, our national team captain. It's called Harambee Stars, Kenya. So we still depend on him. Although he's getting old, but he's still one of the best players we have around.
Eric,
you won a game the other day, right?
Eric and Robbo, you must remember that Wanyama volley for Tottenham against Liverpool at Anfield. You must remember that. Oh,
Robbo over that one. That one got me off my seat.
Hey, listen, I didn't
gloss over that. Eric, listen, you cannot gloss over that goal.
Look, I didn't mind that top bins. I didn't mind that because top bins. You can't beat that. But what I didn't like was but what I didn't like was the fact that we got robbed. We won the game and they gave that Sugarfoot brittle leg biscuit ankle. They gave Harry Strain a penalty when it wasn't a penalty. Come on.
Yeah, but I must just agree with Eric. It's just I think it's only injuries that really put a stop to Wanyama's career, because he was a wonderful midfielder, did a lot of good work at Southampton. Do you remember? That's where he really sort of made his name.
Did he go to Celtic, Rodney? Was he at Celtic first?
He was. I thought he was.
Went to Celtic. Celtic, Southampton, Tottenham, and was really key to the Pochettino Tottenham at the time. You know, but when you're playing in that position, you need your body to be fit and healthy. Do you know what I mean? It's tackles, it's being tackled. But I will never ever forget that goal at Anfield. Amazing, and it was a great game of football. Actually, that one.
It was a big game, and that was when Tottenham was. That was when Tottenham was nearly challenging for the league. And I remember him at Southampton, him and Mane playing at Southampton. And they had Mane, they had Van Dijk, they had
Lallana was there as well, Walcott, Bale.
That was a team that could have done things, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eric, how do they view Mane in Africa?
King.
Sorry?
How do they view Mane in Africa? How is he? He's not of the status of Drogba, but is he getting there?
Are you crazy? He's a Champions League winner. He's a king.
Yeah, but Drogba was a Champions League winner.
Sadio Mane is the most loved player right now in Africa. He's a good player. People do like him because of the journey that he's come from Senegal, going to France, going to the UK, to Liverpool right now. I mean, people see him like a lion of Africa. That's why they are called Lion of Chiranga. And obviously, remember, there are some guys who try to pick between Salah and Mane. But let me tell you, on this side of Africa, obviously, because of the color and stuff, I think people do love Mane a lot. Personally, I do appreciate both of them, but I do feel and their people, they do like Mane. Like the guys who don't support Liverpool, they support other teams, but they support African football. They like Mane more than they like Mohamed Salah. That tells you a lot how good Mane is, and obviously the Senegal team. Because right now, like you see in Europe, there are so many Senegalese players. From the goalkeeper at Chelsea, this guy used to play for Watford, and now Sadio Mane. I mean, we feel that this is a generation that can do something that was done by the likes of Cameroon back then, the likes of Senegal of the other years, the likes of Mali and Ghana. So guys do really love Senegal and Sadio Mane. He's a big player right now.
Eric, I've got a question for you. Well, actually, two things. Leeds have just beaten Fulham 2-1, final score there. So we know the ramifications of that for Fulham. Eric, Ethiopia, one of my favorite countries. When lockdown is all over, I would love to visit there. What's the scenario in terms of football in Ethiopia? Who, for example, would be the biggest Premier League team in Ethiopia? Will Ethiopia be producing Premier League players in the future?
Oh yeah, of course. Ethiopia is a really big country, and obviously the league right now, because it's back on Super Sport, because they were not being viewed in Africa a lot in the last couple of seasons. But I mean, they're back. People are able to watch them. But like you said now, some of their players, although it's not so big like in Africa, but we can only give them a few seasons so that they can be able to come where they are, where we want them to be. But like you said, on our side, from where we're in Kenya, we really don't watch their football so much because we're not like in the same region. Yes, they're our neighbors, but we don't speak the same language. So we focus so much on that side.
What is clearly, I mean, obviously you mentioned Cameroon. We can talk about Nigeria with the Eagles. We can talk about Ghana, the impression they have made on the World Cup and these big sporting tournaments. Do you see that continuing? Is that it's very hard to judge because we were here a few weeks ago, Eric, talking about just the Caribbean football, and Ernie was crying his eyes out about his beloved Jamaica. Do you feel that African football is still on the rise, or is there still the internal problems that get in the way of stopping them from actually going further than last 16 in the World Cup? Can you see that happening anytime soon?
Yo, let me tell you, we're growing. Football is growing in Africa. Like the way you see it in West Africa, Cameroon, Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal. We have a chance to make the World Cup semis. Remember, we missed by a chance in 2010, what Suarez did, obviously, and the last couple of World Cups. But now, the last time we played in the World Cup, we were not so appealing. But I do think the game is improving. There's so much talent every year that we are seeing. One thing that we need to do, obviously, like you said, the internal issues. We need to do away with them for now. But I think with the new crop of leaders who are coming into the office now, at least we're now seeing transparency now. People are being accountable, the players, their structures, their systems to work out. And the biggest thing right now is the TV deal, which will help the players because the players will be able to be seen by the European clubs and they can move. Because in the last couple of years, like let's say the last 2 years, you couldn't really watch a game like the CAF Champions League because you couldn't know where you can watch because there was no really like the main broadcaster. Right now, at least they're trying to solve that can come back. to the channel that shows the English Premier League now, the entire Africa. And I do think if we can be able to watch a league from Cameroon or from South Africa, from Nigeria, or from Egypt, all of us in Africa, and probably sell it to Caribbean now, to Europe and to Asia, at least we can be able to see these players now being seen by real talent coaches from Europe. Because right now it's hard for you to be able to go to Europe by the time you are 18 or 19. You have to go to some small clubs, let's say in Eastern Europe. Now, after that, you can be seen now by another club, let's say in Scotland, and now move to the Premier League. So it's a long journey.
Yeah, definitely. How's my mate Spoonie, man? I know you sit on that show weekly. You got your 100 million fans. How's Spoonie doing, man? Because Spoonie comes on our program and talks a lot of rubbish. How'd you get on with our mate Spoonie, man? Jonathan Joseph on the Premier League channel.
It's good. It's loved. Their show is big in Africa. I mean, people do watch the Premier League just that. There's nothing else. When you go to the restaurants, when you go to the bars, to salons, to where people do to go to shape the air. I mean, it's the Premier League, and their show is obviously every day. And I think now it's coming on Saturday for the match day live extra. So he's a good guy. People do love him. They love their shows. I mean, we all speak the same language, football.
Yeah, most definitely. When he comes on, make sure you tell him that you joined us on the show. We don't have 100 million, but we're getting there, right, Ernie?
Yeah, you know that. So, Eric, you're going to be joining us once a month with report from your side of town, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. Right. But next time you come, right, don't wear that top.
Okay, I'll wear that one, the green one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Hey, Eric, it's a pleasure having you.
Nice to
please
meet
follow
Eric.
him. Eric, how can they follow you on Instagram, bro? What's your social media?
Of course, make sure you go. Yeah, my Twitter account and Instagram is the same at Eric Njiro. That is ERICNJIIRU.
All right, Eric Njiro. Make sure you check him out, man. He's one of our talented.
I'll be in touch, Eric. I'll be in touch.
And we'll swap details with Rodney.
Yeah.
All right, nice one, Eric. Thank you very much, bro.
Take care. Cheers.
Nice one.
There you go, man.
So as I said, just breaking news that Leeds have beaten Fulham. So pressure on, and don't forget the teams above them have 2 games in hand. 2 games now.
But we're rooting for Fulham. We are rooting for Fulham. You know,
Eric, Ernie, you be pleased, man. That Fulham team, bro. I was out there saying, but wait, it's a very chocolate colored team you have going on.
A very ethnic side, isn't it? It's very ethnic.
It's very multicultural. This Fulham team. What's going on? What's going on with my screen? I'm liking Fulham, man. I'm liking Fulham, man.
We're rooting for Fulham, man. I'm rooting for Fulham from a long time. And it, Rod, I said I think Fulham's going to get out of it, and I do believe that Fulham, we have a saying, where there's a will, there's a way.
I don't think they're going to make it, if I'm honest. But listen, the way that they've battled, bearing in mind the start of the season when they were conceding goals like water, right? They've done really well. I think they've got some good players. I think their young manager Parker has done really, really well. I just think they're going to fall at the final hurdle. But there's 8-9 games to go now for them.
Did they change their coaching setup at Fulham? Because it was a stark difference. It was like, I think it was one of the...
No, they didn't change the coaching setup, Rob. What they did, if you think about it, is almost changed the entire team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The team that brought them up and got them through the championship playoff final. If you go through that, no, he's changed the players. And all credit to him. It was a gamble.
It was very white, that wasn't it, Rod?
Absolutely. And if you think about it, Robbo, people like Mitrovic was the captain.
What do you mean it was very white?
Mitrovic was the captain. He doesn't start any games anymore. I know he came on today. So it's been a bit of a turnaround. I hope they can make it, but I don't think they will.
Leeds are not far behind the corners, says Richard Smith Senior.
Well, that's not a laughing matter. That's actually fact. So that's
wow. It's a tough weekend. None of the big boys play. I mean, the FA Cup, obviously, Chelsea, Sheffield. Leicester City, Man United. That's a Ernie. You'd be hoping to go further in the FA Cup, wouldn't you? You love a FA Cup.
Yeah, we do. We do well. We do well at the King Power Stadium. I think that I think we'll be very buoyed, if that's the right word, by the win against Milan. Pogba coming back is significant as well. And I expect us to go to the King Power Stadium and win 2-0.
I tell you what, we've just spoken to Eric, who's our African correspondent as such. But you know what? You got to watch out for that boy Ian Nacho. He is scoring goals at the moment right now for Leicester. Yeah. Vardy's not firing. I think still feeling that injury. But Ian Nacho, be careful. I've warned you.
Yeah. I'm quite aware.
Nacho Ranx in the building. King Power. Nacho runs King Power. He's like, Vardy, you've had your time. It's Nacho time. Nacho's nyamming. He's nyamming nachos. But I think Man United's got the squad to overpower them, though. I think so. I think United wrestle that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do go through and take you out of. I think I don't know. I think if they're going to win
2-0.
Whoever wins are going to win very well.
And don't forget, we've also got the Everton Man City game quarterfinal as well. So
Man City
trying to win everything.
I can't see anybody moving the juggernaut that is Man City right now.
Right now, only Man United can remove that, and you know what I mean. So we'll wait and see what happens with that one. Right now, we want to bring it up. We got the rise of the women's football game has been tremendous.
That's right, Ernie. I like that.
The women's game over the last few seasons has been tremendous. You know, we're talking Europeans and World Cups, and you know, we know the USA has probably the best women's team in the world. And the lady we want to bring on now is a journalist. She's also responsible for Talawa TV. And when I called her, she said, I spoke to her very English, and then she said to me, Milikabot Matalawa. And I said, oh, my kind of girl is. Crystal Davis. Hello, Crystal.
Hello, guys. Good evening.
Hello, Crystal.
Yo, Crystal. Lickabot Matalawa.
Hey. Indeed.
What does that mean for our friends outside of the rare nephew country? Lickabot Matalawa.
It's a saying that's been going on long before I was even thought of. Basically, it symbolizes Jamaicans as a whole, but not just Jamaicans, but Jamaica as the country, meaning that although we are small, we are fearless, determined, and willing to succeed with anything that we put our mind to. And I just thought that pretty much sums me up as a person, and that's the reason why I called my platform Talawa TV, because it sums me up beautifully.
Well done. I like that. I actually think I've been not too bad in my little but me Talawa thing. You know what I mean? My little but me Talawa, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know.
I like that. So, Crystal, are you across? Obviously, Ernie said you're across the women's game, and we had a young lady who was she kind of got involved in football because of her child. The club didn't have a coach and she took it on, but she herself was being looked at back in her footballing days for her playing for Chelsea, as it was, Chelsea Girls. How did you get involved in football?
That's a very good question. So when I came to the country back in the early millennium, for me, back in Jamaica, it was about track and field, Merle Nutty, and that was through my grandma. And then I used to lean on cricket with my granddad, and he used to take me to the bar. Obviously, you're not supposed to do that because I was under 5 years old, so he would get in trouble with my grandma. And then when I came to the UK, like everybody in my household used to watch football, and I hated it, because I was obviously the youngest one, wanted the remote control. They wouldn't give it to me, kept on watching football. And as the weekend progressed, I found myself turning on the football and just watching a game of football coincidentally. And then gradually it just grew on me. So I went from, I would say, absolutely hating football to now looking at football almost like a religion, like it's something that I look forward to on the when the weekends arrive, and when the season closes off in May, I feel kind of bored because I don't know what to do with myself. So it's a very weird love affair between myself and the game itself.
Are you what teams are you looking at in terms of women's football? We might as well take it there tonight because the first young lady we had on the show was very adamant that women's football is better. She says when there's no football on, she watched women's football, and she says like the tactical side of it is very close to the men's game. Ernie obviously likes goalkeepers. He likes the women's goalkeepers. But talking about the women's game, I mean, what difference do you how do you view it in terms of enjoyment? I'll be honest with you. I've watched women's football and it moves, but it doesn't move fast enough for me. How do you see it?
I think you're right in terms of the tempo. Obviously, the men's game does play at a higher tempo. In terms of what do I like about the women's game, it's almost when you're watching something new for the first time, it's all about representation. Well, for me, it's about representation. That's the reason why I became a Arsenal fan, because when I first started watching football, Arsenal was the blackest team ever, that most certainly on TV. And then with me, I started tuning into women's football because of the Reggae Girls. And the Reggae Girls, they're quite unique because they represent everything that Jamaica stands for in the sense of out of many one people. You look at the Reggae Girls and you look at their World Cup squad, and they had arguably the most diverse team at the World Cup in France. You look at a team like England, who is a much bigger country than Jamaica, and you can count the number of Black women in their team probably on one finger. So that's the reason. That's what orientation followed by the quality of football, and also what does the team stand for, and that's kind of what sucks me in. And then, like I said, that's when I take it up and follow and look at the quality of the game itself.
Do you when you watch the women's? It's funny you're talking about the women's football. I'm not sure why Rodney would probably be good to answer that question. With how they channel women in football, and obviously there's less representation for the black women in the England setup. Why is that? Is that something I'm missing here?
That's a very good question. I've actually been asking myself that a lot lately. I guess sometimes we have to look closer to home, and we have to sometimes put the onus on ourselves. I'm not saying we should blame us as in the community, the Black community, but I know from experience, whether it's from myself or people I'm friends with, in the Black community, parents are traditionally reluctant to have their girls or their daughters play football or certain type of sports because they see it as it being quite masculine. So they would prefer for you to be a doctor or a nurse, especially if you come from an traditional African background. They would like you to pursue a law career and so on. So I think before we even look at why Black players aren't in the England team, for example, we have to look closer to home and look closer to our community and ask ourselves, why is it our parents have a problem with their daughters or their young girls pursuing a career in football?
Rodney, you're across the situation that Crystal's just spoke about. There was obviously a very poignant moment in women's football, especially where England was concerned with coaches and players. Is that still rumbling on in the background? Can you confirm if that's something?
Is it still rumbling?
I totally lost my taste for the women's game, especially where England was concerned of that situation.
You talking about the Enya Luko scenario?
Yeah, that was
okay. I mean, listen. Good evening, Crystal. By the way, I would say this in terms of women's football. I'll come back to that question. Right, I remember watching England under what I call the first woman of English football. That's Hope Powell 10, 15 years ago. The game was at Milton Keynes. It was England versus Italy. And I sat there and I said, you know what? This game's going to explode. Now, I've heard some of the criticisms of the female game, but trust me, the women's game hasn't even scratched the surface yet. Okay, so we better get focused with that. All right. In terms of black women or black girls playing the game, it's still about opportunity, still about being made to feel welcome, and I don't think that's the case. But let me take you back a couple of years, or I can't remember exactly what. Yeah, it must have been a couple of years now. I covered the reggae girls in the World Cup in France. And all I can tell you, was it Brazil, Crystal, that they played? It was
Opening
Jamaica,
match.
Brazil. Yeah, opening match, right? And all I can tell you, I can't remember exactly what city it was in, right? But I can tell you now, it was a full stadium. And to tell you the truth, it had as much atmosphere, if not more, than any men's game. All right. And all I'm going to say to you, there was a host of Jamaicans there. There was a host of Brazilians there, and a lot of neutrals as well. Okay. And what I tend to find with a lot of neutrals, even though I'm, sort of confusing myself a little bit, the neutrals generally support Jamaica. There's this charisma about Jamaica. All right. And all I'm saying to you, the potential of the women's game in this country, around the world, hasn't even started. So we talk about maybe female goalkeepers not being great and the pace of the game. It is moving at a pace. It's going to get massive sponsorship in years to come. The players will come through. And I've got to mention Leicester City Football Club, the women's team, by the way. And no doubt Crystal will bear me out. They are run by a black Jamaican family, the Morgans. Okay. They are in the championship in terms of women's football right now, but they're heading for the Premier League, known as the WSL. And as I said, this black family, the Morgans, the chief executive is Rohan. The team coach is Jonathan. The general manager is Jade Morgan. And the team captain is Holly Morgan. So the potential of women's football, we all had better get used to it. It's ready for takeoff.
Wow, that's
Is
amazing.
that, Rodney, the Morgans, is that anything to do with the Morgan who plays?
No. I know that's an obvious link, but no relation to Wes Morgan. So yeah, but I'm just saying, women's football is here to stay, quite rightly, and it's going to go places.
Okay, Crystal, who's the biggest names you've had on your list in terms of women's football? And in football in general, what have you been as they say, hobnobbing with?
I'll focus mainly on the reggae girls just because it's part of my niche and I'm just catering to my audience. The biggest name from Jamaica has to be my latest interview, which was with Sydney Schneider. And speaking of goalkeepers, I think that she's actually one of the best up-and-coming goalkeepers that the world has to offer. She has German heritage. She was born in the United States, and thankfully she opted to play for Jamaica. And I think she's superb talent. And if you get the chance, you can watch back Jamaica versus Brazil, and you see that she had a outstanding performance despite the result.
Wow. How do people get?
Who do you expect to win the women's? The women's league? Is it the EL? What's it, Rodney? The women's league?
The Women's Super League, FA. Well, sponsored by Barclays, but it's called the WSL, Women's Super League.
And who do you expect to win that? Because I know Manchester United, Chelsea.
Oh God, Daddy Ernie, don't say Manchester United. You're not winning it. So it's most likely to be Manchester City, hopefully, or if not Chelsea.
Well, this is our first season in the Women's League. Manchester United, the national ladies has won more cups than the men over the last 10 years or so. So who do you expect to win?
I'm expecting Manchester City. If not, then possibly Chelsea, because it's between Manchester City and Chelsea at the moment, and I believe there's 5 games remaining for the rest of the season. So it's either going to be City or Chelsea.
And is there who's the outstanding? I mean, we had Hope Powell years ago, Rodney. We had a Luca at Chelsea. Who's the big stars in women's football now?
It has to be Vivian Miedema, isn't it? Obviously she plays for Arsenal. I'm not being biased, but she's
You're
one of the
biased.
big names in the
You're biased.
she is one of the big names in the game. And she's a outstanding talent. I think the big fear with the talent that she possesses is, can Arsenal keep a hold of her? Because the big worry within that is, are you going to have the bigger clubs looking like the likes of Lyon, who are obviously the champions of women's football? They are like the super team. So it's just Arsenal hoping that they can hold on to Vivian Miedema.
Okay. I wanted to kind of like ask you, but maybe on the grassroots level, there's a lot of we're picking up a lot of women watching the show, and there was a question that came across Anthony where someone says that we're trying to get their young daughter into the game. How is it? What is the clearest route nowadays for young women to get into the game, actually playing the game? What is grassroots in terms of women football? Because it's not as visible as obviously the men's game.
It isn't as visible, but the FA are trying to enhance participation within women's football at grassroots level. Actually, since 2016 to 2020, participation within grassroots level rose by 54%. Now that percentage has probably maintained the same level, or it might have dropped just because the pandemic, but grassroots participation has been on the rise since 2016, and that's down to all the efforts that the FA have put in place.
So where do they go? Where would you start? I mean, my daughter loves football. She loves football. But
sorry, can you repeat that for a second? I lost you for a second.
I said I won't do the facial expression. My daughter loves football, so she'd want to get into playing somewhere. At this, at that early age, under 10s. How would you advise people to tackle that situation? As you said, there's apprehension from mothers and fathers about their daughter getting into a sport like football. What is the best route?
If I was starting off, someone's just actually made a good point, and I believe they touched on school. I would try to go through the school system just to keep active initially, and then most certainly I will do a research within my area to see if there's any local football clubs close by, and then I would take it from there gradually. Okay.
All right. Well, at least some people will be encouraged to know that there is avenues and pathways, and we're all gonna end up like Aluka. That's crazy. I'm still disturbed by that. I'm still disturbed, Rodney. Didn't like that situation.
How's it going for you in the media world, Crystal?
It's going all right. It's going. It's been quiet since last season because I usually do a handful of games, and mainly in the men's side. So I'm usually like at the Emirates or Stamford Bridge, or sometimes I'm at Loftus Road. But this season and last season, I haven't been able to get to many games just because of the pandemic and social distancing. So I'm just mainly focusing on doing online interviews, something quite similar to your live stream.
Okay. And where can they find you
on social media?
You can find me at Talawa TV. So that's TALLAWAH TV.
Okay. No liquor, but with Talawa, just Talawa TV, right?
Just Talawa TV. But you can use the hashtag Lookabout with Talawa.
Do you drink rum, Crystal?
Well, listen, Crystal, we would love to have you back so you can keep an
eye
on.
Robbo, hold on, I'm answering a question, bro. You drink rum, Crystal?
Yeah. Of course. Course.
My kind of girl.
It's a football show, but Ernie wants to know your tipple. Lord have
Crystal, come and
Daddy
see-
Ernie, I noticed you didn't touch on the game that was played a couple of hours ago. Maybe it's because you know that Manchester United lost, but I could be wrong.
I didn't even know we was playing tonight. I was more
Oh
interested.
yeah, you got a nice little 2-0 spanking by Arsenal women, so you can note that down.
No, man, you're wrong, man. You read it wrong. After I look on my phone.
Nice little spanking.
Yeah.
Lord.
All right, Crystal. Well, by the time you come back, right, we would have probably returned the favor. So we'll see. Come back and see us sometime, right, Crystal?
I will do.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you for having me, guys.
Listen. Oh yeah, it's right here, man. It is 2-0.
How did Liverpool ladies get on?
What you worried about Liverpool's ladies? Where's Liverpool ladies? And we're not even in the league, Star. We're not even in the top league. So let's not talk about
You know that. All right.
we're not in the top league. Crystal, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you, Robbo.
Take care.
Thank you, Rodney. Thank you, Daddy Ernie.
Cheers.
Yeah, man. I'll
Bye-bye.
see you soon.
Bye-bye.
And
So
so,
there you go.
to our
So there you
final.
go, Crystal Davis, man. Yeah, you did get thumped. Actually, the game is a game. Yeah, you got thumped up. You got thumped up 2-0, Ernie.
All right, that's all right. It's all right. It's only the ladies.
And you're wearing this black. The ladies are wearing this black kit, and your goalkeeper, in the picture I can see, is looking very desperate.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
And you also be pleased to know, Ernie, the shorts ain't tight.
Okay.
But you like tight shorts. Yeah. So listen, we got
They're on the
a
back
few
in
minutes to go.
payday.
We got a few minutes to go here. We talked about.
We got to bring in it's been
yeah, we got
distraught.
the Tottenham man.
Yeah, he's been distraught since last night. When I spoke to him last night, he was quite cock a hoop before the game, but when I spoke to him this morning, he was distraught. So
Well, that's why we want to end the show on a good note. We want a Tottenham finale.
yeah,
Because it's about going out. So
what's
Tottenham
he
super
doing
fan
now?
now.
Tottenham super fan. He supported Tottenham. Well, from I've known him, and that's quite a few years. I don't know why, but he's a Tottenham super fan. From the raving scenes, people would know him. Watty Junior, OBE. Welcome to the
Good evening.
Good evening.
At that. Look, he's even got some Spurs business in the background.
Is that pillowcase? Is that pillowcase?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
What is that pillowcase?
Pillowcase. Yeah, I'm sleeping. I'm lying up horizontally. Yeah.
A bit like Jose in the dugout.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we all?
Good evening, Watty. Good evening.
Yeah,
I'm good.
You didn't expect that one, did you? You just didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I didn't.
Like the 3-0 last night. He didn't see
Yeah.
that last night either.
No. I saw all of it last night. And it was one of those games where the terminology of Spursy comes into action. Do you know what I mean?
But how do you manage by Jose Mourinho? I know Rodney has his view, and he'll probably get all technical but I'm staying with you, Watty. I'm staying with this Spursy thing. Jose is a crafted manager. He knows to put a team together. He knows to shut out a team. He knows when to go to a game with the opposition fearing. He knows when he's one of those managers that played with sense, but he also plays with tactics. You got 2-0. You had them for 2-0. You only need to stop them from scoring. What did Jose? Because I'm struggling. I didn't see the game. What did Jose do wrong?
Jose basically, in my opinion, has lost the whole dressing room. I don't care. You know, the games that I've been watching this season, we're so up. We started so well at the start of the season. But then it was a false dawn because as much as we was getting results, the football we were playing was atrocious. You know, the defensive mind that Jose had back then should have been reflected on yesterday's performance. because he used to put 10 men behind the ball all the time. And we'd scrape little wins here and there.
Or was it that he's, as you said, he's lost the dressing room, but he wanted the dressing room, the 10 men to get behind the ball. He wanted the dressing room behind the ball, but the dressing room didn't want to be behind the ball, because there's signs there that they're at Tottenham that the players want to play football. And there was moments where the linking up between Son, Gareth Bale, and of course Harry Sugarleg Kane, they look like they want to play offensive, attacking football. If
you look at the team that we've got, Robbo,
is there a problem with the team's way and Jose's way?
Yeah, I think so. I think the fact is that Jose needs to release the shackles. You see, because we have got a very good squad there. And under Poch, unfortunately, he's no longer our manager. But under Pochettino, we wouldn't be languishing in this position right now. Yeah, we would be in amongst it, as always, as we always were. Jose's come in, the same thing last season where we played dire football, but somehow we ended up in the Europa League, finished sixth in the table, I believe. And the football's dire. We started really well in the season, and now it's gone back to the same way it was the latter part of last season. And we're sliding down.
So what went wrong with Poch?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, Poch wanted to buy certain players, like Dybala. Yeah, he wanted to get Dybala from Juventus, and apparently it was stopped in its tracks. And Poch got unhappy about it. And he started making some stupid statements, stupid comments about how we would be leaving Tottenham if we won the Champions League, sorry. You know, he started to lose his mind, you know, when he needed to be stable and sharp. We couldn't get Dybala, so we have to work with the players that we've got. And we've got one of the best strikers in the world, if not the best striker in the world, in Harry Kane. And we brought back Gareth Bale. For love nor money, I don't know why we brought him back, because he's treading on treacle when he's running. And the fact of the matter is, he's nowhere near the player that he was when I went to San Siro to see him play. We was 4-0 down at half-time, and I was there in the San Siro when he produced his best ever performance for any team. I don't care. When he skinned Maicon, and it was a taxi for Maicon as well. And I was there.
I think you'll find his best. I think you'll find his best ever performance was against Liverpool in the Champions League.
No. His best ever performance after that.
Cameo.
Listen. The best ever performance that I saw away from that one was the return leg at White Hart Lane, where I remember that. He skinned Maicon. I've never seen a better left-handed side performance in my life. I'm telling you, away from maybe Ryan Giggs when he was playing at his pump for Man United.
So
I'll give you that one, Ernie.
Yeah.
Hey, so what? Are you not in the camp that let's keep Gareth from just paying me 600 grand a week?
Well, just get rid of him.
Oh, that's harsh.
Get rid of him. He's got moments. He can do this flick. He's outside of his foot. You know, he can do a little back flick. He can cut in across from the byline, get his left foot, swing it in top corner. But we don't play to his strengths. We don't play. It all seems like it's all individual at the moment. There's no real basic tactics going on at top.
So what are you saying? What are you saying? Gareth Bale, 600 grand a week. He ain't all that.
I'm telling you.
Damn.
So, and what are you saying about Mourinho? In your opinion, has Mourinho got to go?
Of course. Ernie, I call him Mourinho, not Mourinho. Mourinho. Yeah.
So if Mourinho goes,
he's coming like gross.
So tell me something. If Mourinho goes, do you reckon he got a job for life for Sam Allardyce at Tottenham?
No, Nagelsmann, mate. That's the one who's coming. Yeah, it's all in the back burner. Nagelsmann is coming to Tottenham, right? He wants to do it. He sees this as a stepping stone up to a bigger job. Granted, Real Madrid or Barca after us.
but Nagelsmann is the man that they're touting right now.
Nagelsmann can go to any development club in the world at this rate. I just can't see him going as a development style manager to Tottenham.
What do you think?
We can only
It's a good call.
wait and see. We can only wait and see, can't we? You know, as far as I've been hearing,
it's a good call. I can see him. I can see him going to Spain. Simeone parking up, Nagelsmann at Atletico. I think he'd want to play European football, Nagelsmann.
Well, he will, because Tottenham are going to finish in the Europa League position this season. It's still mathematically possible for us to be finishing in Europa League. Yeah. And we're still in the Carabao, whatever cup it is.
Carabao. Or the Carabao.
Yeah,
Cup. You're in the final. Hey, you're in the final. You're gonna love it. You're gonna absolutely love it. You're gonna love it.
I know, but I can see I can see a Watford result against City at Wembley.
No.
Rodney, what do you reckon of the position at Tottenham at the moment?
I mean, listen, I must say that last night, it was a real shocker. It was a genuine shocker for two things, in my viewpoint. One, that you conceded 3 goals, and secondly, that you couldn't score a goal with all your attacking resources, which would have got you through. Just the 1 goal would have got you through. I think, Watty, you touched on it as well. I think there is a little bit of friction in the camp. I think there's the camp that wants to take the handbrake off and really play with the Sons, the Bales, the Kanes, the Lo Celsos, really good players that you've got there. And there's the camp that are with Mourinho. And that oil and water mix definitely is not working, because with all due respect, if you're talking about a forward line, potentially Tottenham have got something that Liverpool have had with a front 3 to die for. But I was surprised again last night, because Mourinho has always built his reputation on a good, solid base defensively. And last night that was gone. And when players down tools in terms of their mentality, you get results like last night, as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? So I think Nagelsmann will be a great shout. I think it'll be a different brand of football. But
Can you see it though, Rodney? Can you see Nagelsmann?
Yeah, I can see it without doubt. But I think that Tottenham fans, and I remember when Jose was appointed, there was a camp that said, wow, we've got this serial winner. He's going to turn us into winners. And there was another camp that said, boy, that's not how we want our football played. Do you know what I mean? And I think what happens, just check Jose's record. He blows teams and clubs up after 2 or 3 seasons. It never ends well. So with all due respect, we're actually where I thought we would be, maybe just a little bit sooner. Do you know what I mean? Because this is not the Mourinho of 4 or 5 or 6 seasons ago. I'm sorry. This is why Sir Alex and the Wengers of this world, they chipped early, because they could see what was coming. Because there's a new breed of manager, in my opinion. There's the Nagelsmanns, the Pep Guardiolas, even the Artetas of this world. Do you know what I mean? Where they just...
Don't swear at me, Rodney.
Yeah, sorry. And the thing is as well, I just can't understand how Tottenham set up. I mean, I've got to take you back a week to the North London derby. There was Arsenal, vulnerable Arsenal, and Tottenham played Tottenham played as if, Arsenal were world beaters.
But mind you, whenever we play Arsenal at the Emirates, we always get nervous.
Yeah, I don't know why. But I think it's going to end up in tears. From what I've read and what I gather, not even the Carabao Cup success potentially against City
in tears
will save Jose. I don't think it'll save him.
I hope it doesn't.
Well,
he's got to go. He has got to go. And the thing is, if you remember the start of the season, Højbjerg was one of the best holding midfield players in the Premiership. Okay,
yep, without doubt.
Now, all he's doing is running around, because the amount of minutes that Jose's playing him on this defensive third, where we're having to be chasing the ball, defending all the time, and he's having to run around to stop teams from attacking us. He's got tired. He's mentally tired now. Yeah, Ndombele is a brilliant player, but you're playing him in my position in the wrong position. He should be a 10.
Yeah,
because he's got that capability to do it.
What do you think? Do you think Harry will leave?
Listen, Harry loves Tottenham. We all know he loves Tottenham, right? But that's the question. You can't be the best striker in the world in a team that hasn't got a hope in winning anything. Yeah,
He's not the best striker in the world, Watty.
Sorry?
He's not the best striker in the world.
He's about the third best.
Lewandowski is the best striker in the world, right? But he's at least second or third. There's nobody else out there. Maybe Benzema, whoever. But Harry Kane is in the top 3 world-class strikers. Haaland is coming up as a fourth, and maybe Lukaku, since he's lost all that weight and he's left that team theatre of failure, he's gone to Milan. You know, he's looking sharper.
The theatre of failure, that is a lot better than you. Yeah, the same one.
What was the score, Ernie? What was the score? 6-1, was it? Or did he get
technical,
yeah.
Since then, you've gone backwards. You've gone backwards since then. So you might as well have not won 6-1 because you've been backwards since then.
Now, Daddy Ernie. Don't treat our super fans like that. Come on, he's a super fan. We're trying to sort his problem out. We're trying to sort his problem out. So listen. I think there was definitely signs on the wall when Liverpool came to the stadium and beat you comfortably. I was worried. I thought that was a game where Tottenham would turn up and dominate Liverpool at the time. Liverpool was there for the taking, and I think a lot of the bitterness right now I'm feeling, and I'm not sure I think it was the defeat to Arsenal and how you went down to Arsenal. I think that's where it's. I personally think there's a lot of fans who have I think that was the writing on the wall, because I would be, as a Liverpool fan, I'd be quite happy to being in it, coming into the last scrappings of the league, and knowing that and in the Carabao Cup, I got a big game against Manchester City. I would still feel okay if we win that, we have silverware. But I think the game
that goes to show me that the players. Sorry to interject. That goes to show me that the players just don't want to play for him no more. Yeah, that's what he shows me.
You were saying Nagelsmann, and I'm putting Nagelsmann to one side because I just think that he ain't coming in. Yeah, I don't think he's coming. I personally, it's a good shout, but I think the best shout for Tottenham, hear me, Watty, what do you reckon? Nuno Espirito Santos from Wolverhampton Wanderers gets that job. A bit like how Poch was doing a very good job at Southampton, could solidify a team, put his imprint on a team, put his coaching stamp on the team, get the whole team playing. Could you imagine Nuno with Harry Kane at the helm, Son, and a few others? I think that would, and he takes Neto with him from Wolverhampton. Nuno for Spurs.
Very good shot. Very, very good shot. I like Nuno, and I want him to take Jimenez if he does decide to come as well. Yeah, because Jimenez is the striker. Yeah, so if he could take him, take Bolly, and Patricio, the goalkeeper.
You don't need a goalkeeper. You got decent enough.
Loris is past his sell by day.
He's on his way. He's on his way.
And Joe Hart is the number 2. Excuse me, but we've got a great keeper who they decided to loan out in Gazaniga. Gazaniga is a
totally
great.
Agree with you. Totally agree with you. Yeah.
And they've gone and loaned him out, just like
Gazaniga. Yeah, I've seen Gazaniga a few times. Really good goalkeeper.
He said he wanted to play football, though. Gazaniga said he wanted to play football.
We didn't need to sign Joe Hart.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
But Gazaniga said he wanted to play football. That was the complaint.
Yo, there's still enough games. Hugo wouldn't have been playing in all of the games. Yeah, he wouldn't have been most probably playing in the most important games. But there's lots of games, the Carabao Cup and loads of other different tournaments that he could have been playing quite regularly. Yeah,
dude wanted to be number 1, man.
Well, it's a bit like Martinez at Aston Villa, isn't it? He left, but we've still got him. That's a good thing. We've still got him, and we can bring him back. But Arsenal and Martinez, I don't know what they've done there, but that keeper is a good keeper as well. He wasn't going to get in Kozoleno, but
money, I think 25 million pounds. I'll take that.
Let me ask you about Daniel Levy, because he seems to be he's integral to Tottenham, but Is he doing the right things? Because you speak to the fans and they want Daniel Levy out.
Well, Ernie, 20 years he's been in charge, and we've won one trophy. Yeah, 2008. Yeah, under his tenureship. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Joe Lewis, who's got all the money, sitting, lying in Bahamas, all over where he is. Yeah, he is just using our team as a gaining tool. Yeah, where they can make money from. That's all
like
it is.
That's like most of the owners, though, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you, now he's passed it on to Levy. Levy knows he hasn't really done it as far as they should have done, right? By getting rid of Pochettino when he was getting a little bit stale, it's changed the whole dynamics. Bringing in a serial winner in Marino, right, has only made everything get worse, yeah? And as far as I'm concerned now, we need to cut ties with Enick. We need to cut ties with Levy. Although he's made us the best stadium in the world and the best training ground in the world, the football that we're being served with at the moment, as a diehard Tottenham fan who's been going for over 41 years to White Hart Lane and the new stadium, I want him out now. And I'm sure the consensus amongst a lot of Tottenham fans, the real ones that love the football that we've been served with over the years, albeit some managers haven't been great, but we have had great footballers in amongst those times. Your Modric, when Harry had Modric, you know, Van der Vaart, you know, we had Bale, we had Jermaine Defoe. Those were, you know, we've always had a nucleus of players that knew what they were supposed to do and were privileged to play for Tottenham. And this wonderful badge here. Yeah.
So we're wrapping up now. What about Chrissy Hughton?
Well, that would be a good shout. I don't think that it would ever happen under this tenureship. But as you said earlier on, Ernie, you know, change it a little bit. I'll be glad if Brighton go down, and I want West Brom to go down as well. Yeah,
we're all in the same yoke.
Well, I tell you what. I'm not going to say Tottenham fans are hard to please, because I think a lot of it's been brushed over by this new stadium and how the media kind of pompousize about Daniel Levy being a great negotiator. All of that great negotiating and all of that skill and talk has not brought Tottenham success. So I agree with you, Watty. I think he's done a terrible job. I don't think he's done anything more than any other owners who have a lot of money, shell out a lot of money. He shelled out a lot of money, but he's not. He definitely hasn't brought success. One Champions League final, it's not good enough for Tottenham.
I tell you where Tottenham have problems as well. They've got arguably the best stadium in Europe right now. You know, I've covered games there. It's an absolutely first-class venue, but it's been empty for a year, and that all adds to the financial stress. So that is then a case for me. One of those big names may well have to be sold to even try and get close to balance in the books. Because don't forget, at the end of the day, football is about spondoolies. It's about the dosh, isn't it? So you can't have a 60,000 seat stadium with nobody in it for the best part of the year, and that doesn't have some sort of financial ramifications.
I'll tell you something, Watty. I'll take him off your hands if you like. I'll go and drive and pick him up. I will take Son at Liverpool in a heartbeat. Forget Harry Kane and all that. Son at Liverpool.
Totally agreed.
Do you know what? I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, though, Robbo. But the thing is, I've noticed recently that Son is far too reliant on Harry Kane. And the positions that Harry now takes up leaves Son as the top striker.
And it's not working. It's not working.
Whereas if it was how he had it before under Pochettino, where he's a second, he was more deadlier. That's what I think. I think Son has gone back to that mediocre type player, whereas Poch had him as a world-class player. And I just think this again now. Sorry, Rodney. I think this now again lies down to Mourinho and his man management in terms of coaching.
And you see the thing is as well. If you check the assists, right, Harry Kane is top of the charts, I think, for assists right now this season. And as you said, because he's dropped a little bit deeper, it's given Son greater responsibility at the business end. And at the moment, he doesn't seem like he can handle it.
And he's not up to it.
Do you know what I mean?
He's not up to it.
He
But listen,
do you know what I mean?
What a pleasure talking to you, because you know, there's been a lot of Spurs fans giving it large and they don't want to come on. You was brave enough to come on after you got murdered last night. Sorry. After you got murdered last night.
I was wearing my cap today all day today, and the amount of abuse I was getting from people.
And we wish you the best of luck with the looking.
What, you should pull down, you should pull the cap down further like that.
No, listen, I'm a diehard Tottenham fan, and I'll stand up for my team 24/7. Yeah,
so listen, we definitely have Watty back.
Yes.
I've got a special Tottenham fan all the way from the States who are going to be joining us. We'll have you back around about the time of the obviously the big trophy, Carabao.
Big trophy, man.
That's a big game. We're going to have you back for that, definitely. So thanks for joining us, Watty.
God bless you all. Thank you very much, and Ernie, Robbo, Rodney. Thank you very much indeed.
No problem. Get rid of that Spurs thing in the pillow in the background.
Hold on.
Yeah, keep kissing it, mate. You ain't gonna win nothing, but keep kissing.
I'm Tottenham till I die. I'm Tottenham till I die. I know I am. I'm sure I am. I'm Tottenham till I die.
You keep singing that song. Nice one, Watty.
Thanks.
God bless you. God bless you, lads.
Yeah, man.
So,
look,
Ernie, we before we wrap up, we've got to just reiterate that we won't be here next week, but we'll be back obviously the week after, which is Good Friday. Tell us about the menu.
We got John Barnes, we got Troy Townsend, we got Sean Wallace, and of course the Cool Ruler's gonna be here. Eddie Nesta will be back, myself live from the Theatre of Dreams, and then we got Jurgen Flop from Field coming as well. Right, coming as well. And just before you go, remember you can actually see this show on Yanga at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's on Freeview. We're stepping up.
You leave all that juicy stuff out, and you go on about Rare Nephew, the important stuff. Say it again, Yanga TV.
Yanga TV on Freeview. Hold on, let me keep talking, Rod. I'll get the Cool Ruler and Liverpool. Yeah. I'll get the details up right here now.
Yeah. Rare Nephew, man.
Whatever.
Ernie, make sure you have this stuff in advance. So Yanga TV, I'm not too familiar with Yanga TV, but Ernie assures me it's one of the best black channels out there on Freeview, and
I've got it. Don't worry.
Go on, Ernie. Go on, pop it up. It's on your
right. You can get it on Sky TV channel.
Have we lost him?
Okay. So it's on Sky.
It's on Sky TV channel.
It's on Sky TV, and it's also on Freeview.
It's just me and you.
You're modern people. Just use Google. Yanga TV. So it's tomorrow at 11 a.m. Here comes
11 a.m. So we're going to be on holiday next week.
Yeah,
Robbo's going to get himself a decent shirt. He's going to get himself some decent shirts to come on next when we come back.
Ernie's going to get
the John Barnes shorts as well.
Ernie's gonna get a piece. Ernie's gonna get a piece of cloth, and he's also gonna sort out his BT. Sarah, are you with us, Sarah? He's gonna sort his BT out. But so the next week is next time we're back on. We're not on next week. Following week, John Barnes, Dark Destroyer, Sean Wallace, and Troy Townsend. We're talking about racism in football. It's going to be a special. Obviously John Barnes loves racism in football, so John Barnes is going to be on the show, and Ernie's going to question back on the show. And the week after, the 12th of April, bad boy Andy Cole. You know, like Man United, but Andy Cole.
Yeah, man. Andy Cole. Yo,
Andy Cole. People, thank you, Rodney. Enough respect. The Cool Ruler, Daddy Ernie. It's another Friday night. Fixture list. We out. Peace.
We out.
Cheers.
Later.